Hello fellow crafters, this is Nala and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make this beautiful wreath card, and I was lucky because Gina finally got her wreath templates. So here I'm using the 4-inch wreath template, and I cut a cardstock out by 4 by 4, and I placed it inside of my Misty precision tool along with my sticky mat. And the stamps we're going to use today is from Ginak. It's the stamp Christmas Greenery. I've used this before in one of my videos. I honestly loved the way that this wreath came out. So first, you're going to place your cardstock inside of your template. You can choose to do it in the diamond shape or you can do it in the square shape. And then you're going to place it on towards the edge. The closer you are, the closer the wreath is. And you're going to continuously stamp while turning your cardstock. And it's easy to kind of turn it and think that, you're just gonna turn all fours and reach the one corner all fours. Just consider two. You're going to want to stamp, turn to the next corner, right? Next corner up, stamp. Then you're going to want to turn to the next corner up. The reason why is because I think the first time I made it, I thought that I can possibly just use the one corner and just remember to hit every corner in that one corner, but that actually does not work because you end up skipping. So you can rather choose to, or you can place a 1 and a 2 somewhere on your template to remind yourself to hit this corner and hit that corner, so that you are hitting every part of this wreath. So the first one I used is with turquoise blue. And then the second one, I just placed I placed the stamp between the branches, and this is more of like a berry type of a branch, and I'm using my color wheel because I didn't know what color I wanted to put together. So I'm using the color wheel, and it looks like we're gonna go for I think it's like a violet, green, blue, and yellow. But for the yellow, it was yellow orange, and I kind of did a little twist with that. So here we go again, we're going to continue making our wreath. We stamp, and then we're going to turn it to the next corner. Not completely, not completely to the next corner of the cardstock, but the next corner of your template. That way you are getting every side. So it's almost like 2 stamps per corner. It's per corner of the cardstock. It's kind of weird, but look how beautiful it's coming out. That purple and I think it was, I forgot what it's, Hot Mama. I think it's called Hot Mama. Hot Mama and the turquoise blue. Beautiful combination, guys. Beautiful combination. But for that yellow orange, I decided, you know what, I'm going to use heat embossing and use gold. So I would go ahead and I took my embossing powder tool out and applied that to my page to prevent any additional sticking of my embossing powder. And then I used my Versamark ink to ink my stamp and then stamp it down. Once I'm done stamping, I am going to remove it. And I'm going to place my embossing powder. This is Gilded from Bruce Monroe. I'm going to put my embossing powder just so I can see it and know where it's at. But I'm not going to emboss it until after I've done the entire circle, just to prevent warping and then having issues placing it back inside of the template. So I'm just going to continue going, stamping, embossing powder, and then stamp, embossing powder. Once the wreath is completely done, then I will go right ahead and I will use my heat gun and I will melt that embossing powder together. Look how beautiful this turned out, guys. Look at that embossing powder, that yellow. I think that gold is perfect with the colors. And then now I'm just gonna add another wreath using turquoise blue again, but I'm gonna do it coming out of the flower, okay? And this is not hard at all. This, honestly, this template and her stamps, Gina's stamps, makes it so easy to do wreath. Like, this was actually requested from me from one of my viewers, and I was like, you know what, I will take the challenge. I've never done a wreath before, but let's go ahead and let's do a wreath. And because the first one I did not come out well, and so I was like, I quit. And I turned it away. But this one seems to be coming out good. I'm enjoying the way it looks, and I believe that it is it still has that Christmas look to it, and the colors work wonderfully too. So everything about this wreath screamed Christmas, screamed cute, beautiful, elegant. I love it. I'm definitely gonna do another wreath card. I loved how it turned out. I'm just gonna play around with it. But look how beautiful that looks. And for those berries, the berry branch, I used Seedless Preserve Distress ink. But I realized you might want to have a lot of embossing powder. I mean, not embossing powder, sorry, cubes. I never realized how cubes inks are so much more helpful when they're really, really small stamps. So I'm definitely going to invest in more cube inks. I have some more coming. So now I'm taking a dark purple cardstock. This one's from Michaels. It's a very thin cardstock. I cut it by 3 3/4 and by 5. And then I'm going to use my Waffle Flower Dash Snowflake panel die. And this just makes an impression on my cardstock. And I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. Now, I want to put out and make full disclosure that we are going to do a little hopping around, because I came up with an idea and then I was like, I should have did that way before. And I'll tell you the best time to do it, okay? So back to the card. So I went ahead and I took a light purple cardstock and I just kind of did a little dash tracing of the circle so that I'll know exactly where to place my circle die. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but the circle die is from Waffle Flower as well. And I just picked whatever circle is the size of my wreath and just measured it. And then I die cut it like directly. Like I didn't, it wasn't like a specific measurement of circle or diameter or anything. So I went ahead and I'm placing that same circle back onto that light purple cardstock, die cut it, and then I'm gonna glue both panels together. Once we glue both panels together, we are going to cut the excess of the light purple off. Reason why is because, as you can see at the corners of my circle, they are very, very intricate. It's very like paper thin, and I don't want it to break. So I'm just layering it, and then I'm gonna cut it. Like trim off the ends. Go ahead and trim those ends off, and then I'm going to glue my wreath on my window so that it can come through. Now, what I will say is this. If I was to do this whole card again, what I would have did is place the acetate before I placed the wreath. I would have placed the acetate and did the foam tapes then at this point. But that wasn't my intentions at first. So so follow me, but know that this is pretty much when you would do your acetate, placing your acetate before you placed your wreath in that window. But as you can see, I did it at this point. So I went ahead, I put some foam tape, and then technically that's probably the best time for you to actually put the acetate. No, I was wrong. What I said before was right. Sorry if I'm confusing you. It was a very finicky card, okay? But I decided I wanted to add my embellishments. And I'm using an embellishment. This one's from Gina K. Gina K has these really, really cute embellishments that come in silver, black, and gold. And it's called Pearl Mix Black, Gold, Silver. And I will definitely have that in my description for you. So I'm just trying to find the location of my sequences, and I opted for like triangle, like point up and then triangle point down, because I felt like both point at the same place look kind of weird. And so I ended up taking the top one and moving that big one down, and I felt like it looked better. It probably didn't make much of a big difference, but us as crafters, we tend to see everything that makes a difference, right? So went ahead and I glued that down with my Burley Arts glue. And this, after I'm done with this, this is when I realized I want to put this sentiment from the stamp set, the same stamp set on here. I don't want to grab another product. Then I was like, oh, I don't want to stamp it directly in the wreath. It's going to take away from the wreath, but I want it to float up on the wreath. So I had to go back, remove the two pearl mix that were close to the circles so that I can create a frame ring and then place it back. So what I did was I used the same circle that we used to cut out the window, and then I took one circle bigger. That way we will be able to glue it around the ring, because if we do smaller, then we're going to be gluing it inside, and that's not what we want. So I took one bigger than the size that we placed, the size that we use for our window. And I'm using some matted gold cardstock. This one's from Simon Says Stamp. I do love the matted gold. I have shiny ones, but the shiny one didn't go too well. I didn't like how it looked. So I went for the matted gold opted. I'm just going to center the circles to make sure that it is equal all the way around. And I'm going to use my Easy C tape to keep it stable so that it doesn't move while it's in my die cutting machine. So you're going to want to use, it doesn't have to be Easy C tape. You can use washi tape, which actually I use washi tape. You can use washi tape, any kind of removable tape that you have. Run it through my die cutting machine, and then this was where it got a little weird, because I knew I can't cut through the acetate, but I needed to see where and what I was cutting, since I did not place the window before I glued everything together, because that was not my original intention. So I used the impression, I used the large plate just to make an impression so that I knew exactly where to cut. And then I took my tweezers to hold my frame, my circle frame, placed some Burley Arts glue on there using the fine tip, which made it a whole lot easier for me. And then I went ahead and glued it onto, it looks like I didn't put glue, but I just honestly skipped the frame. And then I went ahead and I glued it onto my acetate window. Now, you do not want to put a lot of glue on that frame because you don't want it to seep out. I just went ahead, put a little bit of glue, placed a acrylic block on there so it could adhere. And then I'm going to pull out my Misty tool along with my StazOn ink. This one is jet black color. And I believe I got this one from Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby is my store, guys. Yeah. Majority of the time, if I didn't buy it from online, I got it from Hobby Lobby. So I went ahead and I placed that window onto my card. I didn't glue it, I just placed it on there so I can figure out exactly where I want that sentiment to sit at. That way it's not too high, not too low, to the corner. I didn't want to eyeball that one. I just wanted to actually place it on there to make sure I put it in the right place. Then I went ahead and I stamped it like we do with all, with our Misty, and allowed it to dry. You want it to dry, okay? It is a permanent ink. It will stain your stamp, warning, but it works for acetate. It sticks on our acetate paper. Sheets, sorry, not acetate paper, acetate sheet. So I place the glue and then I'm carefully placing it around that circle and making sure that I have it centered in my wreath. Then I put acrylic block on there so it can dry, and while my acrylic block is holding it down for it to dry, I'm going ahead and I'm adding those 2 pearl mix that I removed originally back, not to its exact place, but pretty much around about where it came from, okay? So that we can still have the look that we were going for. And that's really it, guys. Like it was oh, I lied. No, I forgot. I did add something to it. So I decided I took one of my jelly rolls and my Simon T-square ruler, and I just created a little line in the center of that circle on top. And I found some die cuts that I had, because we die cut a lot, right? We always cut extra things out and then we place it into a little container or so, or at least that's what I do. So I had a bow that I found from, I don't remember, it's probably from my Hello Bluebird die, but I just found one of the bows that I had, and then I placed that right above the line and right above the circle to kind of give it that like Christmas ornament look. And I'm gonna put it down with foam tape. I just put little foam squares that I had from, I believe it's from scrapbook.com. And I just put the small foam squares behind the ribbon and then placed it onto the card with my tweezer. And that is the finished card, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. I hope it gave you some great ideas and inspired you to get in that craft room and create something beautiful, something inspirational, something that you maybe have been afraid to create. Wreath was for me, using the Wreath template and trying to create a Christmas wreath. That was my intimidating crafter block, I guess you could say. But I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you guys try this out for yourselves and send me pictures in my blog, my email. I would honestly love to see some of the things that you guys create. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Please comment, let me know any suggestions that you may have. And never forget, you matter, you're beautiful, and your life is the wonderful art of this world. See you guys later.